Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we cut that song off a little early, but Avery is back and he is up and running.
That is right, that is right. And Matt, did you play the intro already or no?
I did not play the intro, I could not find it.
Well, you know what? We're going to play the intro right now.
Go Avery, go Avery, go Avery. You're listening to Avery.
Who'd you get to do that? Who'd you get to do that?
Toronto.
Host Avery Lewis.
Get done in Toronto.
Take it
At a
away.
studio in Toronto. Yo, folks. What is up? What is up? What is up? Yes, a few minutes late here. Matt English saved me this morning. Unfortunately, it's coming here. My bus driver, he got sick on the bus. Had to wait about 10 minutes to get a new driver. Traffic was terrible, but hey, we're here. Avery Sports Show, episode 3 on nr92.com. And unfortunately, also going to be tape delayed on Ustream.tv because Ustream is acting up again. But hey, we're here. And if you notice on the camera, the microphone is duct tape. Some reason someone messed with the microphone, so. Oh, what a morning. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, I'm alright, I think I'm doing a little better than you are so far this morning.
I would most definitely agree with that. Anyway, folks, an episode jam-packed sports topics. NHL, finally, tick-tock. Season kicks off in Finland. Sabres, Rangers, Kings playing. Speaking of the Rangers, Sean Avery sent to the minors. I cannot help but just laugh at that.
Oh, I had quite the smile on my face when I saw that. I mean, the guy's had it coming to him for a few years now, and it's about time he finally got it.
No, that is very true. I mean, John Tortorella, he said, you know, I don't mean to kick dirt on this guy, but there's so many other guys in the league better than him. And in the same breath, he says, oh, I just said that? Okay, so I bashed him. I mean, that's the kind of guy. I don't know how, this kind of guy, you could tell. He had lost the room. I mean, no one in New York liked him. No one in Dallas liked him. I mean, I've never seen a guy fight against another player. I mean, I remember a game against Dallas and Boston. No one defended Sean Avery, literally. No one came to his defense.
No, not a single person, and for good reason. The man has never established himself as a team player. I'm not going to say he doesn't have talent on a hockey level, because he does have that, but the team component is out of his game if it ever was there.
No, that is very true. I mean, I think of Sean Avery, he's a very proud guy, will admit that. I don't think he'll enjoy playing in Hartford with Wade, or Connecticut, sorry, as they're called, Connecticut Whale, with Wade Redden. I mean, I could see Sean Avery spending 2011, 2012 in Europe.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll put up with sticking around in the minors too long. If somebody doesn't pick him up, if there isn't an injury bug coming around New York, he doesn't come up. I can see that as well, that he won't stick around the NHL. He'll go and play in an elite league somewhere.
No, exactly. And hey, since we come on so late, I do believe that we have to air our first commercial at 8:20. Is that right, Matt?
Yes, that is right.
All right, so here we go. First commercial of the morning. Oh.
Not that one.
Oh.
I don't know which one it is. Try the new music one. We'll just say we ran that.
Okay.
New music, new attitude. The station for the students. Needs to.
And we are back. Sorry about that. Hey, that's what happens. You come late, the commercial hits you right in the face. First thing. Anyway, folks. But yes, as we were saying, though, in the very quick opening, NHL Sean Avery sent to the minors. The season starting off, and of course, Sidney Crosby, unfortunately, he's out for the first week of the season. So no Crosby against Edmonton, Calgary, or Vancouver.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but anybody who's been following the Crosby saga all summer has... We weren't really expecting to see him back in the first week or two. I mean, he was a late October kind of guy if we even see him in the early stage of the season. So while I'm upset I won't get to see him in Edmonton, he is making progress, and that's all that matters.
No, that is very true. He is making progress. And things though now, Pittsburgh, their team, they're still a very dangerous team with Malkin, Marc-Andre Fleury, Chris Kunitz. This is a team that can still hurt you in so many ways.
Yeah, you see a lot of TSN insiders and the experts projecting the Penguins to take the cup this year again, and I mean, it's not hard to believe, with or without Sidney Crosby, they are a force. They are one of the elite teams of the NHL.
No, they truly are. Speaking of the Eastern Conference, I know everybody's talking about Pittsburgh. What about Washington? Is this the year they finally get over the hump with Ovechkin?
Yeah, you know, I've got a good feeling about this year. Ovechkin had what the pros were calling a bad year, and the man still put up great numbers. So he's coming back. He's got something to prove. He's determined. He's older. He's mature, and that goes with Zeman as well. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as well this year.
Right, that is very true. You mentioned a bad year for Ovechkin. I mean, Ovechkin's bad year is when he doesn't score 40 goals. And this is a guy, for the first time in 15 years, he put up 60 goals. I mean, this kind of guy, an Ovechkin bad year, we'd all die to have among the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even call it a bad year. I don't know. You would call it an off year, I suppose. But, yeah, he said that himself that it wasn't his greatest year, and statistically that's proven. And he's just ready to come back and play his hardest. And I think they're going to be a definite third-round playoff team for sure.
Let's see, that'll be very interesting if they can make the Eastern Conference Finals. And I know at West, everybody's saying, oh, Vancouver again, Vancouver again. People are forgetting. It's Roberto Luongo. Yeah, he's a great regular season goalie, but we saw in the finals, great goalies do not let in 8 goals in the Cup Finals.
No, Roberto Luongo lacks the consistency when he has that pressure on him. He is a terrific goalie, don't get me wrong. I would love to have him in my fantasy draft. But like you said, he puts up regular season numbers, and I don't think he can perform with that kind of pressure on top of him.
No, that is very true. I know people are saying, with the Cup Finals last year, oh, if you're Vancouver or Tampa Bay would have lost. Who was the better playoff goalie? Who was the better money goalie? It was Dwayne Rollinson by far in the postseason.
By far, and not only did he prove that with Edmonton in 2006. Edmonton was en route. They were doing fantastic, and they were going to take that cup until Rollinson got hurt.
Exactly. Although I'm still kind of mad though. Although why was Ty Conklin dressed for that game? Why was it not UC Marketing as Rolly's backup?
Oh, I don't know. And it's something that haunts me to this day.
People always bash Bergeron though, but the thing is though, if he doesn't go after Andrew Ladd, that's a goal right there. That's a sure goal.
Yeah, he did his job. He was playing his position. It was a bad play, but it was better than the play he could have made, which was nothing.
True. Then again, though, they were leading 3-zip after 2 periods, and they blew that 3-zip lead.
Oh, I know.
So we really should have won the series.
We should have. That cup was ours to take, and some bad positional plays, some bad giveaways, and an unfortunate goalie injury kind of threw us off.
No, exactly. And before I want to throw something in here, let's move on. Edmonton Eskimos, I know, big announcement. The team, you know what? Team's changing. I know they got new team president, and that's very interesting now because I heard all kinds of rumors. It was Sean Fleming coming in. It was legendary Warren Moon going to be the team president, and now it's very interesting. The Eskimos keep on bringing in guys, who don't only have great football backgrounds now, and as they bring in Len Rhodes from Montreal.
Yeah, well, I think they're just trying to get something changing. It's what a team does when they're not happy with what's going on, and not like the Eskimos shouldn't be happy. They are second, I believe, in the conference, so yeah. They're doing all right.
Yeah.
But when you got to change things, and you're not necessarily going to get the staff that you want.
No, exactly. But although I gotta say though, gotta have the Kivas Reed. I mean, he's led this team a 7-6 team. He should be coach of the year nominee. He should be coach of the year nominee because last year things were a disaster at Ritchie Hall. Started the year 2-9, but being the CFL, had until the final game of the year to make it in the playoffs. I mean, this is a team that could finish the year with a 10 or 11 wins. So you gotta think that Kivas Reed is candidate for coach of the year.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. The Eskimos came out of the gates flying. They had a great start, and then they kind of slowed right down in the middle of the season there, and that locker room talk must have got them going again because they're coming back, and like you said, they could win 10 or 11 games this year.
Yeah, they could. And that's the thing though. They talk about the Eskimo way. Bring back the Eskimo way. I think that was one of the best hires ever. Bring back an ex-Eskimo player in Kivas Reed. Bring back the old ways of this ball club. Because that was something that was missing for the past 4 or 5 years. Because they said it before. The Eskimos, they lost their intensity. It's like Tiger Woods. People used to just fear coming to Edmonton. Now it's like, oh, Edmonton, we can beat them anywhere. I mean, look at BC. They came in here and beat us 36-1. Kivas Reed is bringing back that intimidation factor when you're playing against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to have, especially in such a full contact sport like football. I mean, it's a mind over matter thing, and if we bring that intimidation factor to the table, then other teams aren't going to be able to perform at their best.
No, exactly. I mean, the intimidation factor, it's still there in Montreal, albeit not as much, but people still hate playing in Montreal because Anthony Calvillo, for what, the past 12, 13 years, has absolutely just been able to tear apart the entire Eastern Division.
Oh, that guy is a monster. Do you blame anyone for not wanting to go there? Or no, I wouldn't.
No, exactly, because I mean, there's been so many epic battles in the Grey Cup with Calvillo. I remember all the battles. I remember, unfortunately, the one we lost here in Edmonton, Montreal. I remember the revenge. Thing is, though, Calvillo, as he gets older, he finds more and more ways to win.
He does, and he is a great quarterback for that reason. He is always adapting to his environment and the type of play going on around him and the type of play of his team, and he can change with that. And so you don't have to make as many changes on your team when you have a quarterback who is so diverse.
It's true. I mean, I guess, and the best comparison of Calvillo is, if you want to compare it to NFL, Brett Favre. I mean, two older guys, been in the league since the 90s. I mean, Brett Favre started his career off in Atlanta. They thought he was horrible with the Falcons. Calvillo started off playing with Las Vegas when they had the American teams. Couldn't get anything going there. Both guys come to a club, they beat up the starting quarterback and become the face of a team for years and years and years. So by far, Anthony Calvillo is a Canadian version of Brett Favre, if you want to call him that.
Yeah, I completely agree. That is a great comparison. And Brett Favre, you need to remember, is still a force to be reckoned with. He is still a dangerous quarterback.
It's true, but I notice now people are kind of getting on Brett because a few weeks ago he was on an Atlanta radio station talking about Aaron Rodgers, and he said he was shocked that Rodgers didn't win a title earlier. Now I love Brett. Brett's my all-time favorite quarterback, along with Warren Moon. But I mean, it's kind of interesting that Brett would say that about Aaron Rodgers, because I figure Brett would go on and say it was an honor to have Rodgers behind me. To say he should have won it sooner, I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard though when you're on the air like that to kind of think about what you're saying. I'm sure that's what he meant, is what you were saying there.
Right.
I mean, I can't assume, but I think that Favre seems to be a fairly humble guy, and yeah.
No, it's true. I know people are always saying, oh, Brett Favre, he's going to go off into the sunset, we'll never hear about him again. That's not how it's ever going to be. People always find a way to mention Brett Favre, because even now, he's making his broadcasting debut, SEC football, I believe it's South Carolina, Alabama, his broadcasting debut. That game's going to be a zoo.
Yeah, the man has the name Brett Favre. He is going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. He is a force. I mean, he brings that respect with him. And even though there's all those haters out there, who aren't with Brett with the decisions he's made over the past few years, I think that he still brings that persona with him that people are going to want to watch him, going to want to listen to him, and they care what he has to say.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned the haters. They're gonna be watching the debut of Brett Favre, the game, the analysts. They're gonna want to see Brett Favre doing color commentary, even though they might say, "Oh, we hate Favre."
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it reminds me of 2.5 Men. People say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch 2.5 Men because, Charlie Sheen's not on it anymore." But I saw on the news yesterday that the season premiere of this season with Ashton Kutcher in place of Charlie Sheen opened with some of the highest ratings in any show in near history, and it's going to be the same with Favre. It's just a factor of somebody that you want to see, whether you like him or not.
No, that is very, very true. I mean, everybody, you talk about Ashton Kutcher and Charlie Sheen, I mean, everybody wants to see how they're going to kill off Charlie Sheen. Even if they didn't like him, they want to see how they rid him off to die.
Yeah, it's true, and it's going to be the same with Brett Favre. He is not going to go out with a whimper. It's going to be a bang.
No, that is so true. I know one thing, that other topics this weekend here. So, another week in the NFL, and this week I couldn't call another New England upset. I couldn't do it 2 weeks in a row. I figured that would have been way too insane. Cause I know Tom Brady, when he loses, he gets mad, and he always comes back with a win.
Yeah, the man is a fantastic athlete and an even better competitor. He lost that game, and he cut his hair. And for anybody out there who is a sports fan but hasn't really played a professional sport, a man's hair is his pride. So when Tom Brady goes out and cuts that hair, that is a sign that the man is determined to come back big. And he did just that.
No, exactly, because that was a big thing with Tom Brady. I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, but I will admit this though. You know what though? He started taking things more seriously because if you see him in the off season, you know what? Yeah, I mean, have fun. But it seemed to me like in the off season, even the lockout, it didn't appear he kept any way of keeping in shape. Because these all the other guys, you know, informal workouts led by the quarterbacks, informal team workouts. The Patriots did essentially nothing from what I saw.
Yeah, I agree too. I saw that as well. And you got to think the man's being paid, I think, $12-14 million a year. You can ride a bike for a couple hours a day. I mean, it's not that hard of a request. And with his wife being Giselle of all people, you would think you would want to keep up with yourself, but I guess not.
No, exactly. Although it got really weird with his hair. I mean, the dude's walking around with a big old ponytail. That just looked weird on an NFL guy like Tom Brady.
Oh, I know. Somebody like Troy Polamalu can pull off the hair, but it didn't look good on Brady.
No, that didn't. That looked horrible on Tom Brady. And speaking of another lockout, the NBA announced it's official. The entire preseason has been canceled, and we're gonna miss the first week of the regular season if there's no deal by Monday. So guess what? We're gonna miss the first week of the season.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna come to any conclusion anytime soon. I mean, they haven't yet, and the preseason's canceled. Sure, it's just the preseason, but it's the start of a chain reaction. I think we're gonna go a little deeper than the first week or so.
All right, and the thing is too. Now remember, preseason games for the NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB. Thing is though, they play most of the games in these small little towns. So and that's money for them. Like you see NHL, they play exhibition games in Halifax and St. John and stuff. Same with the NBA, they play the occasional games. You know, they would play every few years a game in Edmonton. You know, a game in Vegas. A lot of these towns are losing money, especially the smaller ones that get a chance to have one game a year in exhibition time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity for fans outside of the major market to see players in action, and I think that this is just too much greed on both sides, and it's really not helping anyone having this lockout, and I hope they can resolve it sometime soon.
No, I hope so, because we're looking right now, I mean, no 82 game year. I mean, I'll call it 44 or 48 game season we're going to have.
Yeah, you know, that's a pretty likely assessment. I agree with that. There's gonna be some back and forth here now that some demands have been made and the season has been cut off, or the preseason. But I think that it's gonna start, you know, clicking with the teams that they need to get something done, or they may not play at all this year.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I guess Europe, they're happy because all these guys going to Europe. I mean, Kobe Bryant, he signed a 5-year deal to play in Italy, so that's gonna be chaos right there.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that. I mean, that just shows that the players aren't confident that any sort of deal is going to be worked out soon.
No. And it's interesting, too, because I always find it funny, you know, when there's a lockout, you rarely see rival leagues in North America for basketball pop up anymore. You know, there's the occasional NFL ones, you know, the occasional, oh, we're going to be a spring league and not compete with the NFL. Basketball, you'd hardly ever see an NBA rival. That's rare.
Yeah, it's true. And, I mean, the NBA has to compete with Major League Baseball and the National Football League in the United States, and that competition right there alone is enormous. And especially with the MLB playoffs going on right now, I just don't think that a legit NBA team is going to, you know, branch off. I think it's going to need to be more public.
Exactly. And the thing is too, problem with rival leagues though, they go and they say, oh, we're so and so league. One problem, they have no money, and two, they have no star power. You get a big name in your league, and people take you seriously if you bring in a big name player.
Yeah, I agree, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think any of the players who are looking to branch off are going to go to an already established league somewhere, like you said. Italy may not be an NBA, but it is a elite league.
No, exactly. I know you mentioned MLB playoffs. I mean, you know, I've been trying to keep up with the playoffs though, but the one thing I think MLB does that's bad though is the afternoon ball games. I mean, and when they essentially shoot themselves in the foot, because who can watch a Tuesday afternoon game? I mean, the Tampa Bay Texas series, Adrian Beltre of Texas hits 3 home runs. Nobody saw it. Why? Game was on at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, I agree. That's just poor scheduling on behalf of the NBA.
Or the MLB.
MLB, sorry, thank you.
No, it is true. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, but I can take my kids to the ball game. No, you can't. Your kids are in school. If you're gonna have a playoff game in the middle of the day, do it on a Saturday. Do it on a Sunday. Do not do it on a Monday or a Tuesday. That's just poor. That's just poor planning.
Yeah, and I mean it is the playoffs. This is when they're going to fill the stands. Why not schedule the games so that they can fill the stands around 5, 6, 7 o'clock when people are going to make the effort to be there.
Right. Especially with a game in Tampa Bay, it's already known for the Rays already known to have the worst tendency in pro sports. One of the worst tendencies. So a game in the middle of the day, everybody's working. I understand, 50 years ago when there's only radio and there's hardly any teams past New York and Baltimore. I understand that, but now this is an era where your team has to be on TV at a decent hour or you're screwed.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just like I already said, poor scheduling. It's going to have to be like to keep those fans interested. They're going to have to work something out for next season. I mean, it's too late. The games are scheduled already, but it's something I would change.
No, exactly. But then again, baseball, it's always been behind. I mean, the TV deals, no replay still for anything else but the home runs. That's and still also too, what? I love baseball, but the thing is though, the 18 postseason still kills me because if you're 10 years above 500, you should be at least a wild card team. I want to see more teams in the MLB playoffs come next year.
I agree, and I mean, baseball has a long regular season schedule, but I'd like to see my favorite team, head into the playoffs, even if they're a couple games back. I agree that you could have more than 8 teams, especially with the pacing of baseball. I think the players would be able to handle it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an issue of fatigue.
No, and the thing is though, if you're going to complain, I think it's a bit about baseball, that's the glory of it. We can keep the first round for the wild card games 5 games. If you don't do 5 games, we can easily do the best of 3 series.
Yeah, I mean, that works just fine, and I think a lot of fans would be happy with that.
No, it's true, because I really find it so dumb seeing a team finish with 90 wins. But, you didn't win your division? You missed the playoffs. That just looks so dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you go on a bad stretch in the season, and then you come back great, and even the NHL, a team has a bad stretch and then comes back strong, they have a chance of making those playoffs, and it just doesn't work that way in baseball, and I think it could.
It could, man, because that's the great thing about the NHL. I mean, you get 16-team playoffs. I mean, we've seen before. The 8th seed shocking everybody in the Eastern and Western conferences. I mean, you know what I think would be interesting though for the NHL, and I know it'll never, ever, ever come back? Do the old format of 1 plays the 16 team, 2 plays 15. I mean, it never worked because the odds of getting, say, an Edmonton-Winnipeg Cup final would be possibly too great in a perfect world.
Yeah, it's true, and that was a great format, but with the different amounts of talent and the coaching degrees in the NHL these days, I think that those types of games would be so outmatched. To see the opportunity of a 15th seeded team take it all the way to the Cup final, it would be pretty tough.
No, it would be. I mean, it would really make a coach adjust to a certain team because if you have a playoff round of say Boston taking on in playoff round of Boston and say Calgary in a playoff round, Boston has to adjust to playing against Calgary in a series. They gotta learn quickly. Okay, what are the Flames like? What's Iginla like? What's Tanguay like? What's Kiprusoff like? Because these teams play only once a year, so there'll be quick adjustments that'll need to be made for a series.
It would be fantastic to see. I mean, like you said, once a year. Some of these, as an Oilers fan, I mean, we only see Washington once a year. It would be nice to have them play at least 2 playoff games in Edmonton and 2 in Washington. It'd be great to see that level of competition.
No, it's true. Well, last time Washington was here, we were leading Ovechkin. We were beating Washington 4-0, and then Ovechkin. That's the kind of guy. I mean, he literally took over that last game last year. I mean, they're down 4-0. What does Ovechkin do? The first 2 minutes of the game, he scores 2 goals. Literally, the first 2 minutes in.
Yeah, the man is a tremendous athlete. He is. A lot of people call Sidney Crosby the most elite player in the NHL, but I would have to disagree there, and I would go with Ovechkin. The guy doesn't have quite the supporting cast that Crosby does, yet he still produces the same numbers.
No, exactly. And hey, if he really has some good goaltending this year, like you said earlier, they have good goalies. They have a solid team. Well, I know it's really a cast of grittier players in Washington. They could make a run.
They easily could make a run. I think that we need to start considering Washington not just a home for Ovechkin, but a serious force to be reckoned with in the NHL.
No, exactly. When next commercial?
We can do it now.
Okay, folks, we'll be back in a second here. This is Avery Sports Show Morning Edition on NR92.com, station for the students. We'll be right back after a commercial break.
What the buzz?
Girlfriend.
What do you mean?
What the buzz, girlfriend? Your weekly culture guide to everything Edmonton.